Alright people, it is Wednesday, it is the Phil Neville show. I have so been looking forward to this all week. I couldn't do it last week, I was very busy last week, so I couldn't do the show. So today I'll be doing it. Hopefully it'll be more consistently based as well. So I'm here and we're going to have quite a lot of topics to talk about. We're going to have some fun as well. So, sit back, relax, enjoy, and just listen to me for half an hour or so, if that's okay with you. Right, okay then, so let's dive straight into it. So, let's talk about Phil Neville. Let's have an update on him as well, as he's my idolised human. So, obviously, a lot of people that are friends of mine know that I admire him quite a lot. On YouTube, he's on my FIFA a lot as well. So on my training session thing. So that's what we are going to be doing. So basically, we have been doing the training sessions on the Monday. Picking random teams. My friends helped me out. I'll talk about that in a moment. But we're going to talk about Phil in the news this week. So Phil has suggested that footballers boycott social media because Paul Pogba was racially abused after missing a penalty in a 1-1 draw with Wolverhampton Wanderers. So obviously Paul Pogba is a Man United player. And I just think what happened to Paul was absolutely disgusting and moronic. It happened last Wednesday. I'm not saying it happened today, but last Wednesday, Tammy Abraham missed a penalty and he got racist abuse as well online. I just think it's ridiculous just for missing a penalty. He hasn't done it on purpose. The keeper saved it. So I don't know what they are complaining about. Really, he missed a penalty. Yeah, you can be a bit annoyed that you didn't win the game, but there's no need to be racist or offend the religion. That's just absolutely moronic and disgusting. So it's just appalling, really. And Phil has also been adding some new debutants to his England women's team as well. And on the FIFA side of things, on FIFA 13, Phil trained this week with Sheffield United, and obviously they're a Premier League team now. I'll talk about that later on. It was quite a decent session. I got a few views back. A few of the views have gone down a lot, so we're hoping to bring those back, and hopefully we can. There's more people who will want to enjoy them as well. So. Any more news on that front? Well, next week I like to be prepared. I like to prepare myself like who is he going to be representing next, because I'm really excited about which kits he's going to be wearing and stuff, which teams are people going to pick this time, what I've done, I asked my friend. He's picked Charlton Athletic and Southampton, and I've got a bit of paper over there. It was a different team. It was a bit of a practice earlier. I was going to upload it, but unfortunately I had lots of distractions. We had someone come in the room and ask me stuff. So unfortunately I've done it. I've deleted it and I'm starting it again, and it wasn't as good before. So I'm prepared. I'm more prepared now. I've looked at some more stuff I can share with you. I've got some stats. I've got some transfer gossip. And there's some other stuff that I might know as well on the footballing side. So what we're going to do, for the 7th of October, we're going to pick a team. So this is what we're going to do from now on. We're not going to have requests anymore, because I don't think many people will want to request. If you do, I will still listen to them. Okay, but if there isn't any requests, then we will go into the bag. So we're going to go into the bag now and see which team we pick out. So I'm going to shake the bag a little bit. It's like doing the FA Cup draw or something here, but in a bag. But we're just picking one team, right? So the team Phil will be playing for, the team Phil will be training with on the 7th of October, which is a Monday, and it is going to be, hang on a minute, Leyton Orient. Yeah, the paper, I had to rip the paper because I couldn't find any scissors, but yeah, Leyton Orient is the team Phil will be training with on the 7th of October, so congratulations Leyton Orient. He's 99 rated, he's brilliant. I made him 99 rated, by the way. He's 74 actually on FIFA 13, but I made him 99. So yeah, Phil will be training with Leyton Orient on the 7th of October. Congratulations Leyton Orient. You've got a great player there. So, and you get to be on my YouTube as well. So that's quite good. So, Leyton Orient on the 7th of October. I will put that in after I've done this video. So, yep, that's all the news on the Philip Neville front. Now let's go into the Premier League roundup. So the Premier League Week 2 started off with Arsenal against Burnley at the Emirates. It finished 2-1 to Arsenal. Lacazette got the opening goal, Barnes got an equaliser, and Aubameyang scored the winning goal. And Aubameyang's goal was actually his 10th goal against Burnley since signing for Arsenal. So Burnley is probably is sick of the sight of him, really. So Aubameyang has scored the most goals Aubameyang has scored against any Premier League club is Burnley, is technically what I'm trying to say. So yeah, he got 2 against Burnley in that 5-0 win in Arsene Wenger's final home game as Arsenal boss. He scored in a 3-1 win over Burnley at home, and he scored in 3-1 Burnley away on the last day of last season. And Ashley Barnes has got 3 goals in a row against Arsenal as well for Burnley. So there's some interesting stats for you. Here's some other stats I've written down as well. Aaron Wan-Bissaka of Man United has 15 out of 17 tackles. He's attempted 17 tackles and he's won 15 of them. And only Ricardo Pereira has attempted more with 18. Fabian Schär and Wilfred Ndidi, I didn't actually put the number down, I think it was 9, have got the joint most interceptions. Someone's watching a film down there in case you wondered what was going on down there. David Proper has been dribbled past the most with 8 times. Luka Milivojevic has made 10 fouls, the most this season, and Daniel James of Manchester United has won the most free kicks, which is quite a coincidence actually, because Man United are playing Palace this weekend. So in my predictions I've actually said I've gone into a bit of detail about my goal scorers. There might be a red card in the game, who's the referee, and a bit about the game. So I think I won't be surprised if Milivojevic got sent off in that game against Crystal Palace at the weekend. And I'm hoping that we get a win, and I think we're going to get a 2-0 win. So I'll try to do some predictions as well. That'll be in tomorrow's video, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a new thing. I'm going to do every Man United game. So this week, for example, we're playing Crystal Palace, so I'm going to play the Crystal Palace game on the TV, on FIFA, and I'm going to do my own Premier League predictions with you guys as well. So that should be that will be out on tomorrow. And also, if you watch the Four Bro Show prediction show, they predict every week. They predict all the Premier League scores. I always put my scores and the goal scorers and everything down there. So go and watch them as well if you do watch them. So shout out to you guys, the Four Bro Show. Watch it. I enjoy the show a lot. So here we've also got some other stuff now. Let's move on into the Premier League roundup. So, yeah, as I said about Arsenal against Burnley, we'll move on to the next game now. Aston Villa against Bournemouth. Got a bit lost there. Thank God I got back on track. So, Bournemouth took the lead from the penalty spot from a silly challenge from Tommy Eaton, which is quite out of character from him. His Villa home debut, he fouled Callum Wilson in the penalty area. It was a clear penalty, and Josh King made it 1-0. Harry Wilson, on loan from Liverpool, got the second goal for the Cherries. A deflected effort off former Bournemouth player, should I say, Tyrone Mings, who's now Aston Villa, made it 2-0, but it's Harry Wilson's goal all the way. In the next one though, the next goal came from Douglas Luiz, who pulled a goal back, which was an absolute thunder strike. So absolutely fantastic goal after he made a mistake in the first half of the second goal. Next game is Brighton versus West Ham. Brighton had a goal disallowed. It was Leonardo Trossard who earned a point, but you might have had two, as he gave Brighton the lead, but not for long, as VAR disallowed it after Dan Burn was caught offside. Hernandez gave the Hammers the lead, their first goal of the season, and Trossard did equalise eventually to make it 1-1. The next game is Everton against Watford, the Marco Silva derby. Bernard got the opening goal in the 10th minute of the game. Watford are yet to pick up a point or score a goal this season in the Premier League. A 3-0 home loss to Brighton and a 1-0 defeat at Goodison Park. Jordan Pickford was quite impressive. Everton have kept 2 clean sheets and 4 points so far. So very, very good for them. Next game we're going to look at is Norwich against Newcastle. Timu Pukki has scored 4 goals already. He's finding life in the Premier League quite easy at the moment. He got a hat-trick against Newcastle. His first goal was absolutely sensational. And Newcastle pulled one back from John Joe Shelby. I think Newcastle are really going to struggle this season. I think Norwich are going to do quite well this season as well. So it finished Norwich City 3, Newcastle United 1. Right. The next game we're going to review is, I think I'm going to go Southampton against Liverpool. Southampton have had 2 defeats. They did get a goal though this time round. They lost 3-0 to Burnley in the opening weekend, and they lost 2-1 to Liverpool. Mane got the opening goal against his old club. Firmino made it 2-0, and a goal pulled back by Southampton from Danny Ings against his old club as well, from an appalling error by Adrian. So yeah, Adrian obviously he's had a bit of a crazy week. Obviously Wednesday was injured with his ankle, I think it was. That's what Liverpool have said, because a fan appeared to slide into him, and he obviously he did play, and he made that mistake, and it was an awful mistake, really, a bit of a laughable one, to be honest. But Liverpool won, so I think he can laugh about it, really. Right, so the next game we're going to look at is the evening game, Man City versus Tottenham. I'm just making sure I haven't missed out a game. If I have, please let me know. So Man City against Spurs finished 2-2. Tottenham picked up a point unexpectedly, because we thought, obviously everybody thought City would win, because Man City practically win every game. You know, you'd expect Man City to win every game, really, and Tottenham did get a draw. They should have had a penalty early on. Lamela on Rodri. Referee Oliver said no, and the VAR also said no. Sterling gave City the lead. Lamela scored quite an impressive goal. City retook the lead from Aguero. Moura got the equaliser, Lucas Moura, and then VAR intervened, as I said in yesterday's refereeing video. Deflection, you know, it was so harsh. You know, if he put his hand up and, you know, he made connection with the ball, fair enough, that's handball. You disallow it. But if it's accidental or not, with the use of the arm to create a chance or score a goal, the goal will be disallowed. I do think, you know, I do think that is very, very harsh. It does take a lot of the emotion out of the game. I'm not going to bang on about it, but it happened. So, you know, I'd be frustrated, but it might give all the other 19 teams in the Premier League a chance in the Premier League this season. So, yeah, sorry Pep, sorry City. But, yeah, it's an unfortunate one. Right, next game we're going to look at is Sheffield United 1, Crystal Palace 0. The goal came from John Lundstrom. 4 points in their opening 2 games. And it was a great start for Sheffield United in their first home game in this campaign. Crystal Palace is our opposition this weekend. They have not scored a Premier League goal yet. You know, they were pretty poor against Sheffield United in the second half. That's what I've heard. So, yeah, Palace, it's not really good times at the moment, but I do think they'll get out of it. It did take them a lot of time to start winning games. They got their first home goals by the end of October in a 2-2 draw with Arsenal, thanks to 2 Milivojevic penalties. So, you know, that's not looking good from a Palace sort of front. And Wilfried Zaha, of course, was frustrated that he didn't get to leave Crystal Palace to join Everton. So, you know, frustrating times for Zaha at the moment, and not really. I think it's a bit worrying times for Palace as well. Right, so we're going to move on to the next game, Chelsea versus Leicester, 1-1 draw. I talked about the referee getting stuck in traffic, and Ollie Langford, who's a championship referee, got his first ever Premier League game, got to referee his first ever Premier League match at Stamford Bridge. What a way to do it. He didn't really have any big incidents to sort out. I think he only showed 1 yellow card in the whole game. That's to Jorginho. So well done to the ref. And also well done Mason Mount for getting your first Chelsea goal. And Wilfred Ndidi got the equaliser, so well done for him as he made the mistake for the Mount goal. And Brendan Rodgers says he was to blame. And then Wolves 1, United 1. I made a review of that on Monday night, so I'm not really going to go into that one. You can watch that back if you like. Now I've done a bit of a team of the week. Some of you might be quite surprised. There's a lot of options, but I picked this team. Right. So I've gone a 4-3-3. That's what I usually go with. I've gone with Jordan Pickford in goal. I've gone with Max Aarons at right back. I don't really analyse personal performances, like look at individual players and look at their kind of performance. But you know, I went Max Aarons because he was a part of the Norwich winning side. He's a young player. I think he's really good. I don't know what kind of game he had. I don't know much about the tactical side, or, you know, I just look at the game, you know, and just watch it along, really, and you know, just see what happens. I've gone Ryan Bennett because I heard a lot of positive things about him. You know, I felt you know, he was really defensively solid for Wolves. Yeah, they did concede a goal, but who cares? You know, I felt you know, he was putting a lot of boxing interceptions in. Conor Cody did concede a penalty in the game as well, which could have been costly, but it wasn't eventually for Wolves. I thought Bennett had a solid game from what I've heard. Soyuncu as well. I've heard he had a solid game. I didn't really watch the Palace game or the Chelsea game. Christian Fuchs, I saw him putting a really good cross and, you know, involved some really good pace for Leicester at left back against Chelsea, and I thought he had a pretty impressive game in my view. So I'm going to go Fuchs at left back. In midfield, I'm going to go Wilfred Ndidi for responding and playing really, really well in that draw at Stamford Bridge. Got the equalising goal as well. And Ruben Neves for Wolves for scoring that absolute gem of a goal against us on Monday night. Obviously, I wish it didn't happen because it was against us. I don't think anybody wishes their team scored against us. But, you know, against you, you know, I don't think anybody wishes that someone scores against you if it costs you. And Maddison just in front of them because I thought he played really, really well in that Leicester midfield. The front three I've gone with, it's actually quite surprising, on Aubameyang on the left, because I thought he scored a good goal. He had a bit of a quiet game, but, you know, he scored a good goal, got Arsenal the victory. I've gone Lamela on the right. He had an eventful game, and I've gone Timu Pukki up front. I think that's the least surprising pick of the team, really. I think the rest of them are a bit surprising, but you can have your views. I would have picked Caballos. There was Pepe I could have picked, but that's the team I'm going to go with for week 2. There will be a week 3 one out next Wednesday, and I'll also be reviewing the transfers as well. I know it's a bit late, but that's what I'm going to do because I've had some suggestions off people as well. So, right, next thing we're going to look at now is, I've got like a list of all the things I was going to do on the show today. Yorkshire review. Now, I'm going to look at some of them. I don't know. I'm not going to look at all of them. There's like teams like Barnsley and Scunthorpe, and I'm just going to look at most of the West Yorkshire teams. Like your Huddersfield, your Bradford, your Leeds. I might look at some other parts of Halifax Town. I'll be up there. Excuse me. Disgusting. Halifax. Might look at Sheffield United. I pretty much have, really. Maybe Sheffield Wednesday. I don't know a lot about Barnsley and Scunthorpe. I'm not familiar with a lot of their players and how they're doing. I know Barnsley's in the Championship and Scunthorpe are in League 2. So yeah, that's it, really. So I'm just going to look at those teams. So Sheffield Wednesday we'll start off with. Sheffield Wednesday went back to the top of the Championship after a 1-0 win over Luton Town, who were newly promoted to the Championship. The goal came from Kadeem Harris, who played for Cardiff City last season in the Premier League. So Sheffield Wednesday are back to the top, and they're still without a manager. Lee Bullen is still in caretaker charge. He could get the permanent job, you never know. So yeah, congratulations to Sheffield Wednesday. I think they could push for promotion. Maybe they could get the playoffs. Who knows what can happen this season? The Championship can be so dramatic. Charlton have had a good start as well. They've started the season unbeaten. Also, let's look at some other games as well. Huddersfield Town in the bottom 3 of the Championship. It's been a bit of a struggle for them. I did a video on Jan Sievert being sacked by Huddersfield last week. Obviously, I think it was the right decision. He's only won 1 game in his entire Huddersfield career. That was against Wolves at the back end of February. A last-minute goal from Steve Mounier. Huddersfield are still going to be looking for a new manager. They're in caretaker charge of Mark Hudson, who's a former Huddersfield player. He took charge of the game against Man City back in January when David Wagner left. And surprisingly, because they're playing Cardiff tonight, Mark Hudson played for Cardiff as well, and also that was David Wagner's final game as Huddersfield boss against Cardiff, a 0-0 draw away from home. It was 0-0 in both Premier League games last season. Huddersfield, the ref gave a penalty, and then the ref went over to the linesman and said it wasn't a penalty then. So Huddersfield hope to avoid any of that controversial incidents tonight in the Championship, and they're still looking for a new manager. I like to commentate on a few games. I'm going to be watching. I always plan my games what I'm going to watch. This week I'm going to watch Norwich, Chelsea, and Bournemouth, Man City. And then I'm going to watch Huddersfield, Sheffield Wednesday. So both of the current caretaker managers might still be in charge by then. Who knows? So yeah. So we're going to look at another Yorkshire team now. We're going to look at Leeds. Leeds are in action tonight against Brentford. They've got a 2-0 win over Wigan, and they'll hope to continue their good start to the season. They've only dropped points this season against Nottingham Forest, which is a 1-1 draw, and they'll hope to maintain an unbeaten start to the season. I don't know what kind of position Brentford are in, but I think Leeds will win tonight. Right, next we've got FC Halifax Town. The Shea men have been, it's been a while since I've been to a footy game. The last game I went to was actually at the Shea as Halifax beat It was I forgot now. It was the playoff final victory which got them to the Conference Premier promotion, the Vanarama National League. It was Chorley. That was it, Chorley. That I remember it now. I forgot there for a moment. It was ages. It's been 2 years since I went to a footy game. So yeah, Halifax Town made a good start. They've lost one game. They appointed Pete Wild, who was the caretaker manager of Oldham Athletic. He's done well so far. Won his first 3 games of the season. Lost to Wrexham. We got 1-1 draw late on against Aldershot. So they'll hope to fight for promotion. Who knows? Next year, Halifax Town might be on FIFA 21. You never ever know, do you? So we could be seeing, the share won't be on FIFA 21. I'm sure of that. So yeah. Next, we're going to look at Bradford. Bradford. I think they've had a good start in League Two. I think from what I've heard, they won 3-0 against Oldham. They've had a few draws. They're a bit like Sunderland, drawing a lot in the early start of the season. Drew 0-0 with Cambridge and drew 1-1 with Grimsby. They lost 4-0 in the Carabao Cup against Preston. And I think Bradford will get promoted this season personally. I'm not going to do any Championship, League 1, League 2 predictions. I'm not familiar enough with those leagues to do so, so I apologise on my front there. I'm for Barnsley, for teams like other Yorkshire teams like Barnsley and Scunthorpe, I will try and find some more details about them. I don't know much about them, so I'll talk about them more next week if I can. And I'll be on the lookout for their results as well. Now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do some transfer gossip and other stories, right? So this is a story I heard from Football Daily's YouTube channel. A player called Adil Rami, I've heard of him before. I remember once he got sent off against Swansea for Valencia a few years ago, and Swansea were in the Europa League. And Rami got sent off. He's 33 years old. He might be looking at the end of his career. He was sacked by his club. It was not Valencia, I don't think. It was another club. But he was sacked because he said he was injured and he was supposed to be focusing on rehab. He was involved in a mud wrestling show. And he was involved in that. So basically, skived. So he's been sacked. So, very, very silly. To be honest, I've seen it. It looks really strange. So yeah, that's what happened. And I've got some transfer rumours from today's BBC Gossip. And I don't come up with my own gossip or anything. I just look on the internet and see what's about and stuff. So I thought I'd share it with you in case you didn't know. So I'm not trying to steal things off of the people. If that's what that's not intentional at all. Just some interesting stories I've heard and stuff, I just thought I'd share with you. So, Fenerbahce want to sign Marcus Rojo on loan from United. Everton tried to buy Marcus Rojo in the transfer window. Real Madrid striker Luka Jovic, who signed for £62 million, could be joining AC Milan on loan. Juventus are interested in Luis Suarez. That's only if Barcelona can re-sign PSG's Neymar. And there's rumours I've seen today in the BBC Gossip column. Could Jurgen Klopp retire? He said when his contract ends in 2022, in the next, he might have 2 or 3 more years, he might retire from the game, which would be quite sad actually, because I'm a Man United fan, but I really like Klopp. I really like his humour, his optimism, and what he brings to the game. There's a new lad here that I've heard of, Eduardo Camavinga, if I pronounce that right, could be coming to the Premier League. Arsenal, Tottenham and Manchester City are all interested in him as he inspired Rennes to a 2-1 win over PSG on the league opening game of the season. And could Lamina of Southampton be heading to Monaco? Well, I heard today that Monaco, sorry, have signed Islam Slimani on loan from Leicester City, so Lamina could be joining as well. So yeah, guys, that is the end of the Phil Neville show. I hope you all enjoyed that video. Please remember to give your opinions, and remember to leave a like, subscribe and comment below. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'll be back next week. If you've got any more ideas for the next Phil Neville show, please put them down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. And Leyton Orient on the 7th of October is the team Phil will be training with on that Monday. I will see you all later. Have a fantastic day. Brad is out. Peace out.